It's the most wonderful time of the year. Or not? Some people like it, some people don't, right? Christmas is a bit of a stressful time for some people. So it's a little bit different for everyone. Hey there, I'm Charlotte with Colorful Teaching for You. Thank you so much for joining me. Merry Christmas in advance for all of you who are enjoying this year. But if you're not, today we're going to be looking at 4 different ways to handle the stress of Christmas. So how are we going to do it? Step number 1 is be realistic. This is not the most fun step ever, but it is just a very important step if you want to avoid some Christmas stress. So you're going to be doing 2 things in this step. Number 1, I want you to create a realistic schedule for yourself. Oh, I know, not that much fun, but what you're going to do is take up your planner, right? Beautiful planner, take out your planner, and you're going to actually plan for what you need to accomplish. What do you need to cook? Do you need to get gifts? What do you need to do? Create a lovely little schedule and slot in some times where you can take breaks, like slot in lots of times, because it is exhausting. If you have energy, you can work through some of those breaks, but if you don't, then you've got that ready and you're not stressing out. Okay? The next section you're going to do in this step is you're going to create a budget. I know it's not a sexy word, but I want you to create a budget to stay on task with your money. And the reason for that is because so many people around this time spend, and then they come back and they realize, look at my receipt. I've spent way too much. And after Christmas, that's when the stress really kicks in, and sometimes it turns into depression because, well, how do we pay for these bills when we don't have the money for it? So look at what you can afford to spend and how much you can afford. And if people start saying, no, you need to be giving us more, we're going to talk about that in step number 4. But for right now, today, your job is to create 2 things: a realistic schedule and a budget. Okay? And then when you're done, we're going to move on to number 2. And that is be conflict free. This is harder said than done, because around this time of the year, emotions are amplified and everybody's either super passionate and excited about every single thing. People are really excited. People are either really just love everything in life, or they're just really angry, right? It could be just super happy and then turn to really angry. So you must remember this when people get upset about some things, or a situation doesn't turn out the way you want it to be. Your job at this point is to just breathe and remember that people, or situations, everything is amplified at this time. You're going to ask for some space. You're going to walk away. You're going to just calm yourself down, do something you enjoy, and then go back to the situation and deal with it then, or with the person, because you do not want to be approaching somebody when you're angry and saying things that you probably would regret later on, because you more than likely are not going to be meaning it in that moment, because you're just, your emotions are probably just as amplified as the other person's. Okay? So that is number 2. If you don't know how to really center yourself during that time, step number 3 is going to be helping you, where we look at be mindful. So here I want you to actually focus on some self-care when you walk away, or if you are, remember we talked about step 1 where I said put in lots of breaks when you create a realistic schedule. Here's when you want to add in some self-care. And if you don't know what to do for yourself, I've got a list of at least 15 different things that you can do to center yourself, all right? And you can find it in my free resource library, so it's free. And it's at www.colorfulteachingforyou.com/freebies, and I'll link to it in the description. Colorful has a U in it. The second thing you can do is also another way of grounding yourself and centering yourself, and really focusing on the meaning of Christmas, and not what Christmas has turned out to be, where it's all about running and giving this and buying this and all of that. It's what is Christmas about. I've created a little journal that you can work through, and it's also located in the free resource library. So if you go there for the self-care strategies, you can also pick this one up as well. Both are free. All right. Again, I'll link to that in the description as well. Step number 4 is what we talked about in step number 1. I said to come back to it. This is called be boundary oriented. So here, when people are saying, you can't afford something, and they say, oh, you need to buy this, or if you're expected to host a dinner, but today or the day of Christmas you aren't able to because you don't have the capacity maybe in your home, or you don't have the funds for it, whatever it is, you are and should stand up for yourself and say no. It's hard, but you are the one that needs to take care of yourself and your loved ones. It isn't up to somebody else to do that. So you need to say no. If you say yes and you can't handle it, it's you that's going to be stressed out. So yes, you're allowed to say no. And if somebody gets angry, that's on them. And yes, people might get angry because, like I said, emotions are amplified during this time. So don't take it to heart. Just do your part and be confident and be happy that you are able to say, no, I'm sorry, this is just not possible this year, perhaps next year. All right? And that's just an easy line that you can say. So let's recap really quickly what we talked about. We've looked at the importance of, focusing on these 4 strategies because it's going to help you, especially if you're overly stressed out during this time of the year. And the 4 strategies we've looked at is, sorry, I blanked out for a second, but it's be realistic. So you're going to be creating your realistic schedule and your budget. It's called be conflict free. The 3rd one is be mindful, and the 4th one is to be boundary oriented. If this is too much for you, feel free to contact me anytime and we can go through these steps with you. In the meantime, remember to create, experience, and teach from the heart. Remember, Christmas is about what's inside that counts. Okay? Be one with yourself. Merry Christmas in advance. Take care of yourself. Have a good day.